Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it. Greetings, Algo artisans. We're going to take a look at the charts for our weekly update. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Solana, EURUSD, GBPUSD, USDJPY, USDCAD, GBPJPY, AUDJPY, AUDUSD, USDCHF, SP500 Futures, Dow Futures, NASDAQ Futures, gold, and silver. But before we do all of that, we're going to take a look at the economic data that's going to drop this week. We're going to take a look at Forex Factory right now. Okay, a lot of PMI data coming out on Monday. So Monday open is going to be tricky, both European and US open. You have all the European countries, the major ones, and the USD PMI, that's Purchasing Managers Index data coming out. So those can all move all the markets and make things tough to trade. And then 2 p.m. EST, we have Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking. Tuesday is going to be relatively quiet. We do have 8:30 p.m. EST, the Australian CPI coming out. So trading the Aussie gets tricky then, probably. And then the European Open, the British CPI comes out, which again could make things a little dicey trading the pound. Now, tentative that same day, Wednesday, is the annual budget release for GBP. So I might stay away from GBP pairs all Wednesday until that data comes out. And it's tentative. We don't know what time or day that's going to come out, but they have it on Wednesday. Now, Thursday, almost every week there's going to be the unemployment claims and some other data coming out at 8:30 a.m. EST for the USD. And the final GDP quarter over quarter is coming out, so that could get tricky trading that until that data is done. But then that's right around the market open, right before that, so we might see some nice volatility to trade on Thursday. Friday at the European Open, we have retail sales data for the British pound, and then 8:30 a.m. EST, both Canadian GDP and USD Core PCE price index both come out. Now, the PCE price index is an important inflation metric, so if that came out way different to expected, that could mess the markets up and put a lot of volatility in. So I definitely would hold off on trading personally till that data is out and the market has digested it, whether that takes 2 minutes or 2 hours. So that's the week coming up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts for Bitcoin first. Okay, so Bitcoin came down pretty hard from its highs, off its highs around 109,000, made its way all the way down to 78,000, and this might be the reaction to what we are told is tariffs, etc., etc. I think the picture is a little bit more complex than that. Whatever the picture may be, it looks as if that low is at least temporarily in. Now, it has been climbing up, and something I'm seeing in the charts tells me that it will climb up more. How much more is the question? I think there's a good chance that by the end of the week, price may climb up to test 90,000. I think it's going to kind of inch up over the next few days if it doesn't shoot up based on data that comes out. I do have a conservative look because the higher time frame still has a bit of bearishness, but we could see the price pop up. It could go above 90,000. But I do like the probability of price testing 90,000 because if you look back here, going back through Q4 of last year, there were a lot of tests from the top side at around 90,000, right? So this is a place where price would probably like to go and at least grab liquidity before it goes back down or go back up into that same consolidation. As the algos are right now, I would expect Bitcoin to bounce off of the low 90s and head back down, but by the time price gets to that area, the algos can change, so I'm not going to plan too far ahead. For the moment, I do expect price to head up for the next few days, and for this particular chart, I only took this prediction out just a few days because, quite frankly, the market is wild right now. I don't want to predict out more than a few days. And one last thing here, right now, there's a lot of liquidity sitting in the low 80s, so price easily could jump down to the low 80s to grab that liquidity before it heads up. But right now, it's popping up pretty strong, so we could see this move a lot more swiftly than what I have drawn. A lot of that probably has to do with the futures market open, and we're going to cover that here shortly. We'll notice that the NASDAQ in particular is popping up nicely on the open. So this could move up way more quickly than what I had looked at when the initial open happened. So we'll see how that goes. Let's take a look at Solana. Solana, I have following Bitcoin more or less. I have that prediction going out till about Thursday due to some of the data that's coming out. And again, we might see it kind of follow Bitcoin on a quick dip down to get some liquidity. But overall, I do see Solana heading up, maybe not as quickly as Bitcoin. It seems to have been moving more slowly than Bitcoin in recent weeks. So we should probably see that continue. If Bitcoin pops up hard, Solana may follow, but not quite as quickly. I think there would be a point where Solana would take over though, but that's something that I'm not sure the market is ready for just yet. And when I say take over, I mean where Solana might move a little bit more quickly than Bitcoin. But for the moment, I think it's going to follow along and not quite as quickly in whichever way Bitcoin goes. And you're looking at it right now, probably a test of these local highs at maybe 135, or it could go and test some other highs around 150, but I don't expect 150. I'd probably think 140 at the most in the next few days. But if Bitcoin does really pop up, of course, that can change the whole picture and Solana could go up much higher. Let's take a look at EURUSD. And as I always say, these predictions are not really there for me to trade. They're just for me to have a general idea of what the market could do based on not having any big surprises. And lately there have been a lot of surprises, but this is a nice general way to think about which way the wind is blowing over the next few days. So the euro, and as you'll soon see with the pound against the dollar, I do expect price to head down a little bit, but I think we will see it grab some liquidity. What we've had over the past month is a strong move up from down here to about $1.03 for the euro all the way up to $1.09. That is a big move up for the euro. I do expect price to come back down and maybe pull back to what is called a 382 Fibonacci retracement. I think price may still want to head up, but it's going to come grab some liquidity at a 382. It could go all the way back down to $1.05 or so, but I think we're going to see less than that, at least by Thursday. Let's take a look at the GBPUSD, otherwise known as the cable. Same kind of thing, although it's a little bit more bearish, so I do expect the GBPUSD to head down, but it could go sideways. Maybe down, of course it could really do anything, but I think we're going to see price test some of these local lows around about $1.28 or so. Let's head over to USDJPY. A little bit of bullishness here. It could simply head sideways, but I do expect it maybe to head up over the next 3 or 4 days until about Thursday to test 151 yen, or just above that at about 151.30. This local high that was kind of created and reflects back at this older structure going back to the early February. So we could see that head up and just test those levels, but I think it's going to be kind of a sideways to up move. Nothing terribly exciting outside of any surprises. Let's take a look at USDCAD. Now remember, Thursday is a big day for both of these currencies, and this projection goes out towards Thursday. So whatever happens on Thursday could really change on this particular chart because both of these have big data. You have Canada's GDP, you have USD's core PCE, which is an inflation metric, which is really key in markets right now. I expect sideways to down until then, and then we'll see what happens after that. Let's take a look at GBPJPY, aka the beast. Sideways from the beast is what I expect. Doesn't look like much is going on, and unless we see any surprises, I expect mostly sideways action, maybe creating a new range between about 192 yen up to this resistance at about 194.88 or so. We'll see what happens with that, but I do expect sideways and to be pretty calm, at least for the first part of the week up until Thursday. Let's take a look at AUDJPY. Same kind of thing. I expect sideways price action. We might be seeing a bit of a new kind of a channel being created, but there is some resistance right about here, which is at 94.20 yen. So we're going to see if price can either just bump its head on that over and over, or maybe go a little bit above that, but I think it's going to go sideways until Thursday. Let's take a look at AUDUSD. This pair has been overall bearish and looks like it's getting ready to probably go sideways and down. And again, we're going to only look through Thursday and we're going to see what happens after that. But I don't expect much out of this, either sideways or sideways and down. Let's take a look at the Swissy. USDCHF, same kind of thing. I expect sideways action or sideways and down. Not a lot going on there. Let's take a look at SP500 Futures. Nice bullish open, gap up on all three of the indices here, and I do expect price to kind of inch up a little bit throughout the week. Again, there's a fair amount of data on Monday and of course on Thursday, but until Thursday, from what I can see, it's going to be sideways or sideways to up, and some older structure resistances I'd be looking at are going to be around 5,800 and then maybe 5,940 or so. I don't think it's going to make it up to 5,940 by Thursday, but then again, we might see a really strong open on Monday and everything I just said kind of goes out the window. But right now, at least we're looking bullish and sideways to up. Let's take a look at the Dow Futures. Same kind of thing, maybe not quite as bullish as SP500, but who knows? We'll see what happens on the Monday open. For now, a bullish open. I do think some slight sideways to up. Local resistance sitting at 43,210. Maybe a test of that before Thursday if there are no surprises. Now, last week we did see a pretty strong open on Monday. I was not expecting that, so we could see the same kind of thing again. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ Futures. got this to be a little bit more bullish, and I've got a local resistance sitting at about 21,100. I think price will probably break this lower resistance of 20,340 and pile up to about 21,100. We're going to see if it can do that. It might even be stronger than that, but if this open for all of the indices today is any kind of clue, I would expect some bullish price action this week, but maybe just like a lot of things this week, kind of an inching up. A little move up, little pull back, move up again, little pull back, that kind of action. I think we're going to see a lot of that this week outside of any surprises. Now let's take a look at gold. Gold fresh off of all-time highs. Gold made it up to $3,058 on the Oanda exchange. Now I do think we're going to see it cool off a little bit. Geopolitical events could cause gold to simply go up, but for the moment I think they're going to go ahead and let it fall or even push it back down. A nice local support for that is going to be anywhere from 3,000 down to about 29.75, and I would not be surprised to see over the next few weeks gold actually get pushed below 3,000, maybe all the way down to about 28.30 or so. We might see that. Another local support is about 29.55 or so, going back to these highs right about here. A lot of highs made right there, or you have this low, like I said earlier, 28.30 or so. Those are the two areas I expect gold to go to. However, gold has surprised us a little bit in being as bullish as it is recently, and again, I put this on international events. Let's go ahead and take a look at silver. Same market dynamic as gold, geopolitical events, so on and so forth. And we have a local support sitting here at about $31.80. And another one, price just bounced off of that at $32.77. I do expect price to head down below $32 this week. And it might even make it down to $31.80, or in a more bearish scenario, we could see it come down to about $30.80. See if it bounces there. Now, that's pretty bearish by the end of the week. That's a big move down, but we have seen such moves before, and the metals do tend to get pushed down after they make new highs, whether they're all-time highs or local highs. So that's what we got for this week. Thank you all for watching. Come on over to Algo Factory. What we do is we teach you how to trade the markets. We teach you how to read these charts. We teach you how to use the data on the chart to predict where price is going to go. And when you can predict where price is going to go with any degree of accuracy, whether you do it 80% of the time or even 50% of the time, if you have a certain degree of statistical probability, then you can make money in this game. You can extract money from the markets, and you can do it all the time. You don't have to wait for your cryptos to come back after 2 or 3 years or anything like that. We help people not have to cross their fingers and wait. We help people take their future in their own hands financially. So come on over to algofactory.tech, learn how to trade like a hedge fund pro, and we'll see you Tuesday morning for the live show, 8:30 a.m. EST sharp. Thanks for watching.